So today, the shepherd's pie that we're doing, the cottage pie, is pretty fast to come together. If you think of a stream, it cascades down the rocks. That same thing we can do in the kitchen too, by cascading dishes. Join me, Steve Bryce, as I guide you through what I learned, tips, techniques, tricks, as well as mistakes over the years as I explored plant-based eating in my transition from being a meat eater, working in the meat industry, to becoming a vegan chef. We're going to take the potatoes and just rough cut them, boil those, mash those. So the potatoes, obviously are the base for the mashed potatoes on top. I chose not to peel them just because there's nutrients in the peel. Plus, if you peel it, that's food waste. And, why not have more fiber and nutrients and less food waste at the same time? In mashed potatoes, some of the favorite mashed potatoes I ever had were those that you take potatoes and add sour cream and butter to. And so my take on that today was basically to make a sour cream with the cashews and a little bit of rice wine vinegar. That was the sour cream. And then I guess I came in with the nutritional yeast as kind of a cheesy element, maybe buttery, I don't know. And then I did add a little bit of olive oil to it, just to, kind of give it that buttery, sour creamy richness. The lentil mixture, I've got some fresh sage from the garden. We'll mince that up, mix that with the lentil, and then we'll put it in a baking dish and bake that off. And to give it a little bit of a jump start, what we'll do is actually heat the lentil mixture in the microwave to give it a jump. And then the potato mixture, the mash over the top, we'll put that on. And basically we can finish this under a broiler. So since I don't have a regular oven, we have a crazy kitchen here. I don't have a stove or oven. I use one induction cooktop, a pressure cooker, and a toaster oven. And we're going to finish this dish in our toaster oven. The reason I use induction cooking and a toaster oven is because they use less energy. The toaster oven takes so much less energy to heat up, to preheat, and keep hot than a regular oven does. And the induction cooktop is only heating just the pot, just the food, and not everything around it, which sometimes makes it interesting to cook with. It's different, but I chose those things because they just consume less energy, and I wanted to focus on energy efficiency. In other words, don't waste. That's the first key. Don't waste. Don't waste food. Don't waste energy. Work for energy efficiency. Work for food efficiency. For instance, today I had a couple of potatoes that they're not bad, but they need to be used up. So I decided that we had potatoes to use, and then we've got this lentil mixture, and those two together, it immediately comes to mind shepherd's pie or cottage pie, which is a traditional dish based from the UK, England. Normally with lamb or beef as the protein source, the meat source inside. Today we're using our lentil mix and the legumes. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just this framework. I see so much now that the meat people are pointing to studies that if you take standard American diet food, Western food, and you veganize it, it's probably just about as bad for you from a metabolic health standpoint, from a cardiovascular disease and metabolic health standpoint, as what the meat-based, animal-based standard American diet, Western diet is. So that's nuts. That's crazy. Why would you do that? So as a foundation too, I like to think of, and we have templates on our website of basically how to put a bowl together, how to put a meal together, how to put a plate together. And it's with grains or starches or whatever. Today we're using potatoes. And then it's a protein source. That could be legumes of whether it's lentils or peas or chickpeas or beans. It could be, the soy products, the tofu. It could be chickpea flour. It could be any number of things to bring in the protein. And then the vegetables. Let's bring in the vegetables, whether they're cooked or raw. And then, of course, the fruits. How do you bring in the fruits? What do you do with that? And if you combine all those things at least in a day, if it doesn't have to be in the same meal, because that's quite a bit of complexity, but at least during the day, think, where am I going to get this? Where am I going to get this? Where do I put the nuts and seeds in? Where do I put in those carbohydrates and proteins and fats that we normally think of as macronutrients, but also each one of those things brings in micronutrients as well, vitamins, minerals, that are so key to creating a balanced diet. I mean, that goes back to my animal science training, not to be gross or anything, but that's how we thought about it, is, do they have a balanced diet? And if you don't have a balanced diet, you're not going to have animals that thrive. And basically, as humans, don't we want to thrive? Don't we want to not get disease, or at least suffer from conditions that we don't have to? Of course we don't want to. The trouble is, our food supply has been hijacked by the ultra-processed producers who are dang good at hitting the buttons of salt, fat, and sugar. They've made food hyper-palatable. That's the words used, and that's true. It's above palatability. It's like you can't stop once you get started. It makes it sound like I want to lead a life or a diet of deprivation. It's like, no, you can have some fun every once in a while. You can have some stuff that's a little bit decadent, but not on a daily, continual basis. So as you enjoy the last bit of your meal, don't forget to move in nature or practice flowing in on your mat whenever you want to find flow and ease in your life.